Hello my guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. So this is the last week of December, which means it's time for me to draw another drawing based off of that month. I do this every month and I have a playlist for these videos, so you should go check some others out if you're interested. Also, please subscribe. For a while now, I've had a sub goal to reach 2,000 subscribers before the year ends, and the year's ending, and we haven't really made any progress, so I don't anticipate to hit it, but maybe I can hit 2,000 subscribers by my 1-year anniversary. So subscribe to make that happen. And on with the video. So first I had to come up with what to draw for December, and the first thing that came to mind was obviously Christmas. There's not much else going on with December besides everyone getting super hyped for Christmas and into the Christmas season, and every ad containing Christmas music. My god, I swear I'm never going to get All I Want for Christmas Is You out of my head. But this is how December is, so there wasn't much else to work with. At first, I was going with that kind of feeling I had with the, God, I'm never gonna get these Christmas songs out of my head, I can't escape them. And I was going to have someone being surrounded by carolers. Is that a word, carolers? People who are caroling. Okay, the word carol doesn't sound like a word anymore at this point, but you know what I'm saying. You know, it'd be fairly simple, just someone in the middle, people surrounding them, all singing. But I want to try and do something different, I guess. I don't know, I think during this time period I was going through a bit of an art block, because you can see a lot of the drawings I made and like video ideas I made weren't around drawing too much. Like the last one was coloring, and this one I didn't want to do something typically cartoony. So yeah, wasn't really feeling it, but I came up with a compromise, I guess. So I envisioned this drawing, and in it it's like a dark night, there's snow all over the ground, and then there's this huge tree on the left, and it's decorated with like lights and ornaments and tinsel, and there's this person who's looking at it. This huge shadows being cast behind them because of the Christmas tree lights and everything. Besides, that tree is dark, and that tree is just like this beacon of light there. And yeah, that's the idea. It sounds kind of boring, but in my head it's a super beautiful image. The tree's so detailed and everything else is very minimalistic, drawing your eye right to that tree. So yeah, that's what I decided to go with. There's no way I was going to be able to accomplish this with like line art and normal coloring and shading processes that I do with every cartoon drawing I do. So I had to figure out some different method of doing this. And with the experience I developed from the last video where I tried out a ton of different brushes, you should watch that video by the way, I decided I was going to use the real watercolor brush. And so I was going to digitally paint this whole thing, which, spoiler alert, takes a long time. It would have been much easier to do a drawing with people caroling around, but no, I decided I was going to have to spend hours upon hours drawing tiny little details because I hate myself. So I started with a very dark sky in the background. At first I tried like toying with the idea of making it galaxy, but I decided I liked it better plain since the focus was going to be the tree, and having this whole ornate sky would draw away from that. And then I put on some snow, and the whole time I made everything kind of loose, textury. Tried to have different variations of color in there so that it gave more, I don't know, life and interest to it. The sky is kind of but the snow looks alright. I didn't want to have to play around with the snow too much, and that was good enough for me. By the way, I was doing most of this on only one layer since, you know, that's how you paint, so that's what I did here. That was fun in some areas. Near the end where I'm adding stuff to the tree, I do like go on different layers and then merge them later, because yeah, no, I'm not having what I'm adding mess up the drawing beneath it, so layers were going to come up at some point. So then I added in a trunk and some basic tree shapes. Just added a few layers of like evergreen pines. Then I gave the trunk like some dimension, some bark texture, then started adding some snow onto the leaves. Then I wasn't liking how the trunk was connecting with the ground. I couldn't think of how exactly to do that, so I just kind of buried in snow, which, when you think about it, is what would have happened anyway, so. Then I started drawing some darker and lighter, like, green lines for the pine, and also shaded beneath each layer to give it some more dimension, show that I was actually casting a shadow there. That actually was working okay. I wish I had done it a bit darker and lighter to add more contrast to the tree colors, but oh well. Then I put on more snow, tried to have some of the green show through, tried to have it like fade out as well. I also drew the snow up a bit to have some areas where like this like pine needle, what's the word for that? Like a clump of pine needles. Okay, well, I guess this one branch of pine needles is higher than others or got more snow, just, showing that kind of stuff. Then I added in the person. They're very messy, and also, like, compared to my vision of this huge tree and a tiny person, I didn't add enough layers of pine needles to make that person being small make sense. Also, like, the tree's position to the ground and the horizon line and all of that stuff, I messed it up pretty quickly, so I couldn't really do that. So now the person is like, they also kind of look way too small, because this tree looks pretty small because of the amount of layers I had, and the person is like a bit smaller than average to still try and like get that size difference. So it just makes them look kind of tiny, but oh well. They're also like really messy. I had a lot of trouble with them blending into the background because I didn't want to do multiple layers, but really for this person I should have had that on a different layer. It would have worked much better, but oh well. I moved on anyway. Then I put in some ornaments and some tinsel. I just did the base colors first. For the ornaments, I did red and gold and silver tinsel. I can talk, I promise. Because red and green are Christmas colors, and then silver. Oh my god, I can't even say my own name. Then silver and gold are also like associated with Christmas. I don't know, there's that whole song that's like silver and gold. So yeah, that's why I chose those colors. The tree was already green, so I wasn't going to have ornaments that were green or anything. So I just did red and gold ornaments, and tinsel is typically silver when I see it. So yeah, not too much thought behind that. For the tinsel, I at first just tried doing lighter and darker strands and tried to have it be like their little bunches. God, tinsel's hard to describe. I didn't know how it worked. At some point I looked it up and looked at some images, but I did not know how I was going to draw this, so I just kind of made it like different strands of the tinsel in little clumps coming out towards one direction and then coming in towards another, so they would layer on top of each other. I don't know if I'm describing this well. You can see it. You can see what I'm doing there. So yeah, I'm doing that. Then I wasn't liking how that was looking, so I tried seeing how it would look if I blended it out, then did the whole process again, I guess, with like lighter and darker strands, but this time in reverse. So I started with the dark and then did light. I tested it on the bottom row and I liked how it looked, so I did on the rest. I think the bottom row looks the best. There's some good parts, but the rest didn't turn out as well. But oh well, they're good enough. Then the ornaments So I just put down a base color, then shaded on the left, or shaded on the right, and added like some shine on the left. Then I copy and pasted them because I was like, no way I'm like shading 13 ornaments. This has already taken long enough and it's very tedious. So I just copy and pasted them, but I didn't really add enough contrast, I don't think. Similar to the tree, I wish I had, you know, especially for the gold ones, made the shadow much darker, but oh well. Then I went back to the tinsel and shaded around the tinsel, also shaded around the ornaments, kind of added in all the shadows that were cast by the additions to the tree that I had just made. I just put a black outline around them first and then blended that out, since first of all there are a lot of different colors going on here, so I had to do it in black because otherwise it would have taken forever selecting like individual colors that would have been casted on each part. Like, you know, there's the snow, there's the tinsel, there's the actual tree, and then there's different variations of colors on each of those. So I just did it with black to save myself time there. And I figured I could go and blend out all these colors, or blend out all the shading after I'd added it. So I just started with an outline and then went to my blending tool so I didn't have to keep switching between them. Then I blended it out. I just kind of went through and like tapped it along. I didn't blend it too harsh because in some areas, like the second row, well, depends on what you define as the second row. If you go from the top to the bottom, it's the third row of pine needles. You can see that I blended it out a bit too much underneath the tinsel there, so it doesn't have that clear definition like some of the other rows. So that's why for a lot of it I just tapped to blend it out. Then I started adding in the lights. I thought I was going to go back and fix the ornaments, but apparently I didn't do that because, I don't know, I'm lazy and dumb. Who even knows if I noticed it? A lot of times when doing like realistic things or things with a lot of shading and lighting, I tend to like mess up on things, or things don't look that great, and I always look at it and I'm like, I don't know, maybe something later will fix this, and it never does. And I don't know why I keep holding out hope that it'll just get better. I need to go back and fix it. Oh well. So for the lights, what I did was I just put the strings, and I put little like nubs or the holders that contain the light bulb. Then I put the actual bulb part in. Then I put like that little part that's in lights where the actual light comes out of. I don't know how light bulbs work clearly, but I just put a little darker bit in there. Then I did some shine, some shading, and then I added in a layer of glow on a different layer because I'm not that dumb, so that I could like edit the opacity on it and have much easier control of it. Also, I made the lights red and green. You know, I already had those colors there, but they're the biggest Christmas colors, and also I had them super saturated, so they were different tones and would pop out more. So it was fine that I was using red and green again on the tree. Then I shaded behind the lights the same way I had with all the other additions, with some black, then just blending it out. Then I added like a rim lighting sort of glow to the person. I think it's a bit too harsh. I had trouble blending it because, like I said, it's on the same layer as everything else. And that's so close to the edge that it gets really messy when you blend too much over there. So I had to just leave it like that. Then it wasn't looking quite how I wanted it to, so I made everywhere besides the tree darker so that the tree would, you know, have this nice bright glow and help get that effect of like the tree being the main focal point there more, and also to cover up that horrendous person a bit more and make you notice them less. And then I just add in some falling snow so that looked like it was snowing, because it felt like the drawing was still missing something. And then I was done. I know I've like say a lot of bad things about this, but truthfully, I really like it. It's not true to my vision. The person kind of sucks. The ornament kind of sucks. And, you know, the tree has some problems. The ornaments. Yeah, definitely should have added more contrast there. The tinsel also needs some more contrast. But overall, if you're like squinting your eyes or just looked at it for a glance, it looks like something that's pretty impressive. And when you look at it for too long, you notice that's not really impressive. It's like, fine. Someone clearly tried to go for something impressive and fell a little short. But like, you know, just everyone squint at this and you're going to be super impressed with me. I also, you know, the lights pop out great. I did good on that. I think the lights really helped it a lot, mainly by covering up the problems with the ornaments and the tinsel. But you know what? It's not that bad. Anyway, if you liked this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Also, comment down below what holidays you celebrate during this season and any special traditions you might have. Also, while you're down there commenting, the description's not that far away, so go click it and look at my social media that are in the description and follow them. Please, I need more followers. And I will see you all next week.